everyone, welcome back to our blog, our channel. Today we are continuing with our fourth lesson, history, and we're going to talk about the Namibian history. So the history of Namibia. Oh, before I continue, please make sure that you have watched the first, second, and third videos of our lessons, where the first one for geography, second for life science, third English. In geography we talked about population, life science we talked about the respiratory system, and in English we talked about the active and passive voice. So in history today we are going to talk about the Namibian history. So let's go in. It was passed through several districts, stages from being colonized in the late 19th century to Namibia's independence on 21st March 1990. So from 1884, Namibia was a German colony, German South Africa, German Southwest Africa. After the First World War, the League of Nations mandated South Africa to administer the territory or Namibia. So, following World War II, in World War II, the League of Nations the League of Nations was dissolved in April 1946, and its successor, the United Nations, the UN, instituted a trusteeship system to bring all of the former German colonies in Africa under UN control. They mandated that all the German colony countries, all the countries that were colonized by German, which were in Africa, must be brought to the UN for control, must be controlled by the UN, by the United Nations. So South Africa objected, arguing that. Then South Africa said no. They argued that the majority of the territory's people were content with the South African rule, so they can't be controlled by the UN. So we move on, and then after that, legal argument ensued over the course of the next 20 years until in October 1966. The UN General Assembly decided to end the mandate, declaring that South Africa has no further right to administer the territory, and that henceforth Southwest Africa was to come under the direct responsibility of the UN. So the UN General Assembly decided to end the mandate, declaring that South Africa had no further right to administer the territory, and that henceforth Southwest Africa. Now, during that time in the war, my people, during that time, Namibia was known as Southwest Africa, not Namibia. Southwest Africa. You know, in geography, the directions, the south, west Africa. It's under those Namibia is under those directions. It's under the Southwest Africa. So it was known as Southwest Africa, not Namibia. Namibia just came, that name just came in after the 21st March 1990, after independence. So yeah, and then let's move on to the German South Africa, Southwest Africa. Soon after declaring a ludicrous and vast area along the Atlantic Ocean, a German protectorate, German troops were deployed as conflicts with the native tribes flared up, more significantly with the Namakwa. So under the leadership of the tribal chief Hendrik Verboy, under the leadership of the tribal late chief Hendrik Verboy, the Namakwa put up a fierce resistance to the German occupation. Contemporary media called the conflict okay. Now, my people, when you look at this, Namibia has suffered so much. Namibia has suffered so much under their colonial rule. Let's go to the independent Namibia now. Since independence, Namibia has successfully completed the transition from white minority apartheid rule to a democratic society. Namibia is now a democratic country. Multi-party democracy was introduced and has been maintained, with local, regional, and national elections held regularly. Everybody has a right to come up with their own political party, and the elections are usually held regularly. Several registered political parties are active and represented in the National Assembly, although SWAPO party has won every election since independence. SWAPO has been winning these elections ever since independence. So SWAPO has been the one in power. SWAPO has been in power ever since independence, since 21st March 1990. SWAPO has been the ruling party, has been winning these elections. So people, they believe in SWAPO. The transition from the 15-year rule of President Sam Nujoma to his successor Hifikepunye Pohamba in 2005 went smoothly. By now, our president is no more the Honorable Hifikepunye Pohamba. It's now Dr. Honorable Mr. President, Dr. Hage Gottlieb Geingob. Namibia government has promoted a policy of national reconciliation and issued an amnesty for those who had fought on either side during the Liberation War. The civil war in Angola, which is our neighboring country, had a limited impact on Namibians living in the north of the country. In 1998, Namibia Defense Force, the NDF, troops were sent to the Democratic Republic of the Congo as part of a Southern African Development Community SADC contingent. In August 1999, which I think some of you were born by then, a secessionist attempt in the northeastern Caprivi region was successfully quashed. Now, that's where we are ending today. Next lesson, we are going to talk about the pre-colonial history. So go study that part. Pre-colonial history. You must go study that part. When I'm coming, you must know. If I'm asking questions, you must answer. Okay. Thank you guys. There will be the last video, which will be on physical science. So please make sure that you have watched all the 4 videos. Make sure that you will be watching 5. You'll be watching 5 videos in total. So make sure that you watch everything, all of them. And yeah, that's all for today.